I'm a feminist, but I really miss my old tits, aka my young tits. No, you're feeling sorry for me now, I can see.
I wasn't sure where that was going. I thought, oh, you've had an operation.
It's just age.
I think they're looking lovely.
Perky.
Not that non-perky
They're
tits
scaffolded,
aren't lovely too.
I'm
All
telling
tits
you,
are
they're
lovely.
scaffolded.
Oh, all of our tits are scaffolded. Not all. Hashtag not all tits. I'm a feminist, but once I risked my life by defending my makeup case from a burglar who was in my bedroom when I woke up. He was holding it, and I said, "There's only makeup in that!" And he dropped it and ran. It was a silver makeup case that I'd got free from Max Factor for buying something, and it looked, I think, like a camera case.
But it's really weird that you say that, because one of my best mates did the same thing she chased someone down the street who'd stolen her makeup case.
Well, I mean, it's very expensive to replace, and it takes ages because you've bought this from here and this from here and this from here. And I knew it was no good to him. So I was like, take the telly. Fine.
Leave me my face.
It's insured. It's insured. But he's only going to dump that in a bin, and that's a lot of...
No, yeah. I'm a feminist and I take my career very seriously, but when I was told I hadn't got a part in Jack Dee's Lead Balloon because I looked too much like the very beautiful Raquel Cassidy, I was secretly delighted, and it was almost worth losing the job.
Nice.
Probably wasn't even true.
I'm a feminist, but once I risked my safety and that of others by running towards a mugger who had snatched my makeup bag out of my handbag. I screamed at him until he dropped it. Take my phone, take my wallet, but back the fuck off from the Laura Mercier. I mean, again, it just takes so long, and he didn't understand. It was like a silver bag, and I think he thought it was valuable. He really looked scared. He was twice my size. He was just opportunistic. He just saw it, grabbed it, and he looked so scared, and he ran. He ran very fast, and he keep on running.
I'm a feminist, and I'm looking forward to proving there is life as an older actress. But I know if I ever make it onto a high-end red carpet, I will be gutted that I can't get my young tits, aka my old tits, out.
I'm a feminist, but if I were given a time machine which could only travel to the moment in time where Virginia Woolf walked into a river with stones in her pocket, or the moment in time where Chris Hemsworth was desperate for a hand job backstage after his drama school production of Guys and Dolls, I would feel guilty about the potential lost novels of Virginia Woolf and try to create them myself. I mean, it's Chris Hemsworth, though.
Is that like a famous thing? Is that something he talks about in interviews? The time he was desperate for a hand job?
But there must have been.
I mean, how desperate
if he'd given
men
a performance,
can give themselves hand jobs. How desperate was he?
It's not the same. They assure me it's not the same. Live from the old courtroom in Brighton, the Spontaneity Shop presents The Guilty Feminist with Deborah Frances-White and guest co-host Margaret Cabourn-Smith, and our very special guest, Jen Brister, talking about Hysteria. This is The Guilty Feminist, the podcast in which we explore our noble goals as 21st century feminists and the hypocrisies and insecurities which undermine them. We're talking about hysteria today. Now, this is because, did you all hear this news story? So Mary Cray, who is a shadow minister, was asking a perfectly reasonable question, and Philip Hammond, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, told her not to be hysterical. I know. Now, she wrote a piece for The Guardian, and she says, to my astonishment, he told me not to be hysterical. There was commotion from my Labour colleagues and jeering from Tory MPs. So I demanded he withdraw his remarks. He apologised by deploying the weapon used by men everywhere. I didn't call her hysterical. I saw him say this. I didn't call her hysterical. I urged her not to be hysterical. So what he could see, she seemed calm, but he could foresee hysteria coming up. He thought, she's a woman.
Somewhere in your future, something is going to happen which will make you both laugh and cry hysterically.
Exactly. He sensed hysteria coming up. Maybe he sensed an ovulation, I don't know.
He could see her womb trembling.
He could see perhaps her top lip was vibrating, I don't know. But he's had experience talking to women before. So, to be fair to Philip Hammond, he knows the territory very well. And what he wants to do is just put the brakes on any potential hysteria, just in case there was an outbreak of it, like in a sort of zombie film.
And in his defence, Parliament has been quite an insane place recently. Maybe they were going to get hysterical dysentery within seconds if he hadn't stepped in and said...
But she pointed out that if he were talking to a man, he would not have used the word hysterical. And so she said it was used to silence her, and it was used as a power play because it's one of those words we reserve for women.
Mm-hmm.
What are other words we reserve for women?
Bossy.
Bossy. Feisty.
Feisty. Difficult, I think. I hear difficult a lot, yeah. And she doesn't get any work because she's difficult.
She's difficult.
You mean you don't fancy her anymore because she's old? That's what that often means.
Or you mean she's stopped taking quite so much shit? She only takes sort of 60% of the shit that she's dealt, and the other 40% she goes, do you know what? Fuck it. And so that she's now seen as difficult. So today we're going to discuss hysteria, and we're going to look at how we can approach that subject. Is there a time for hysteria? Is there a place? I mean, there definitely is a time and a place for hysteria, Glastonbury. But is there a reason why women are called hysterical? What's the history of hysteria in women? That's what we're going to explore today. Margaret, did you do a hysteria challenge?
I did do a hysteria challenge. I don't know about you, the females in the audience, but I've done that thing of never, ever responding to men when they say gross things or, just even make noises. This man, I walked past him at a bus stop and he went, he went, legs. And that's not, in a way, legs. That's not really anything. I know it's not, but it was...
low bar.
And so my challenge to myself is to do the traditional shouting back, is to try and say stuff back. And so I did turn around to the legs man, and I just said, I'm not very experienced with saying things, so I just said, why? Why do that? And then I panicked and left. But it's really weird, because that sounds like a ridiculous story, but the whole way to the station, I was scared. I was thinking he's going to... Because he looked, shocked, but really angry. He looked really annoyed that I hadn't enjoyed it. I really didn't enjoy it.
Well, I think in those situations, what men are looking for is to change you. They're not expecting to touch your legs. They're not expecting anyone to go...
Maybe they are. I don't know what they expect.
I honestly think it's a provocation to change. My thing in that situation, and I've really found it works, is just I put both my arms up and I go, not cool. And because I'm not saying I'm angry, I'm not saying you've affected me, I'm saying you're not cool. And men don't like being called not cool. And also it's a bit of a surprise because they're not ready for the arms, which look... honestly, try it. It works really well because you see they get changed, they deflate, but you haven't really changed. You've walked on.
I might get some flyers with not cool printed and just hand them. Really cross. You see my frowny face.
You deserve a not cool card, like a yellow card and a red card.
Yeah. I did want to get some badges made up saying your music's too loud and hand them out on the train. Well, they don't like confrontation. I did once, one of the most insane things I've ever done in my life was I was so angry on a bus, but I'm so terrible at my own anger that I wrote a note. A man was smoking on the bus. And I wrote him a note. And I put it in his hood when he left.
So did you feel your challenge, did it allow you to get less notey and more, like...
More, yeah, no, I'm saying
say
things
something?
now. Yeah, less notey, more saying things. Maybe eventually I will actually shout. It sounds quite Dutch. Not cool.
I think in a Dutch accent
Not
it
cool.
would be even more...
Yeah. No, I'm getting into it now.
Yeah. Shall we try it as an audience?
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Not cool. That's good.
And I like that some people went Dutch.
Yeah,
Some people it's a brave choice.
Just like doing a gig in
It's
Holland.
a brave
Brilliant.
choice. I really think we should start it because you can just do it in a way that it's you that's not cool, it's not me that's affected. You know.
But then if they do get aggressive, you can say, no, I was just saying I'm not cool.
No, Margaret. No, there's no back down. It's you continue.
You want
just-
me to get hurt.
You go not cool, and you are continuing to be not cool, sir. Please welcome to the stage Margaret Cabourn-Smith.
Right, calm down. Calm down. I really love being told to calm down. Do you? Yeah, I really, really love it. And it really works, doesn't it? I mean, no, that's the thing. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of my time saying things like, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness you told me to calm down because now I don't mind that I'm late for my meeting and the baby's just tumble-dried a 4-pack of yogurt. I don't mind, thank you. Just you saying calm down has had the effect of a frigging yoga retreat in the Caribbean. So thank you. It's, yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And not only does it not work, I think the people who use it know it doesn't work. I think it's like when someone says something completely aggressive and adds mate at the end of it. Because I always think, no, I don't think we are, mate. I don't think you want to be my mate. I think you want me to take my fucking bag off your seat. I think that's as far as our relationship goes. It has the opposite effect, saying calm down, and I'm pretty confident. I haven't actually done this, but I've got a very good experiment that I'd like you to try. So the next time a friend says something completely just normal to you, like I'm just going to go and get a sandwich from Pret, say, all right, calm down. And they'll be confused to start with. What? I'm saying calm down. So, I am calm. I'm just getting a sandwich. Yeah, no, all right, no, I know you're calm. I'm just saying, just don't get... Keep doing that in a variety of ways and you will get punched in the face. I'm fairly confident about that. I'm actually somebody who is on opposite sides of the I'm often the calmer, I'm often the calmie. In the comedy community, I'm very much seen as these deeply sensible, boring nerd. I'm the one saying, no, don't give the reviewer a wedgie. Don't give Russell Brand a rooftop blowjob. You will regret it. Possibly during. He doesn't strike me as the cleanest of people. I'm the one at 5 a.m. getting people to get out of skips and saying, it's all right, we'll just go and find a kebab shop with a Wi-Fi and I'll give you 5 stars. That's who I am in the comedy world. In the friends with proper jobs world, I do have friends with proper jobs, and they see me as somebody about as serene as a recently bereaved drag queen who's been set on fire. And I, to be honest, I veer between those two states. I did want to make a serious point. I think Deborah is absolutely right about calm. I think it's an overrated virtue. I don't think many people get very much done while being calm. Even Martin Luther King, who obviously achieved amazing things, was eventually shot to death by somebody who presumably was a lot less calm than he was. So I think Deborah's absolutely right, and we need to get more hysterical, get out on the streets. I have a feeling that when Donald Trump's visit, we're all going up to Scotland, right? Yeah. We should all go out there, line the streets, and just laugh at him, because I honestly think that would be the thing that would really hurt him. Thank you. Deborah, what is your challenge?
So I've been having some building work done. I won't bore you with the details. If you're in the pub with me, I totally will, though. But everything's gone wrong, and things have gone so massively off plan and so far over time. And the one thing I'd been promised was that it would be done before Christmas. Having many other deadlines been flouted, I was like, it's fine, as long as it's Christmas, I'm going to come back from Christmas in the new year and my flat's going to be fine and ready. And I then got this casual text, oh, by the way, yeah, it's not going to be done by Christmas, it'll be more like January now. It was the way it was delivered. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have to call you, I'm so sorry about this, I know we promised Christmas. There was no attention to the severity of the situation, it was a casual text. So I went back to my flat, more apoplectic with rage than I can remember being in my life. And I did nothing to quell this rage. So normally I'd go, okay, count to 10. I was like, I'm counting to fucking 0. And I went upstairs, past my husband, who was like, hi, and I was like, there's no time for fucking hi. And I went up to where the builders were working, and I hope nobody recorded it on their phone, because I went batshit. I was so hysterical, and I was like, this will be fucking well done by Christmas, and if you won't fucking do it, somebody else will fucking do it, because you are fucking fired. And now, please bear in mind, this was incredibly inconsistent behaviour, because up until this point, I had been really calm, got on really well with them, been really reasonable, and been like, okay, well, you know, da-da-da, that's a bit disappointing, blah, blah, blah. And I went absolutely crazy. And I let all of the hysteria out, because I thought all of the patience hasn't worked, all of the being good to work with and the good-naturedness hasn't worked, nothing else has worked here, and I am just over this, because I just thought psychologically, for my mental health, I cannot still be living in this building site in January, because it won't be January, it'll be February, and it won't be February, it'll be March, and it won't be March, it'll be 2025, and I'll never, ever have a closing window again on my house, and there's just air coming in all the time, and it's cold, and I've had enough of this, and I just want to be able to just go to bed and know there's a roof on my flat. Anyway, after this admittedly hysterical outburst, magically it was able to be done by Christmas by the builders, who I think it's fair to say are fucking terrified of me. So I would say that's my hysteria challenge, and sometimes when you've used everything else in your arsenal, hysteria works.
Yeah, sometimes you can't just hand out badges. That's I
honestly think sometimes builders talk to women slightly in a... You wouldn't sort of understand this, love. And I'm like, well, understand this. Am I good with one of those things that... What's the thing that you call it? You balance to check that something's straight?
Spirit level.
Thank you. Am I good with one of those? Evidently not. I can't remember the name of it. But do I know how to throw it at a man's head? Yes!
Please welcome to the stage the hysterical Deborah Frances-White.
So if you're in a supermarket and you see somebody, you know, in the cereal aisle, just sort of suddenly out of nowhere fall to the floor into the fetal position and start screaming and screaming and screaming, you would call the authorities, because you would think this person was vulnerable, unless they were 3 years old. And then you would think this is totally normal behaviour, and you would just push your trolley past them as quickly as possible and get into the next aisle away from the noise. You wouldn't think anything was odd if that person was 3. And that is because we teach our children sanity. Our children are essentially born insane, and we teach them consistent behaviour. That is what parenting is. It's teaching them to replicate sanity, even though they clearly are insane. Small children run down the street. If they're happy, they act like an aeroplane. That's random. It's not sane. That's not sane. Why are you acting like an aeroplane, not an aeroplane? because I want to. If they're happy, they sing and they dance. They jump on a wall and they want to run down the wall rather than walk with you. That doesn't look sane. Grown-ups can only do that if they're at university and drunk. A normal grown-up walking to the post office cannot just jump on a wall, run down the wall, jump and land and keep going. People will look because that's not consistent behaviour. A small child can. If a small child is angry, they scream. If a small child is sad, they burst into tears and will not stop crying. Now, what we're teaching our children as they get older, when they're small, we tolerate some of this behaviour. As they get older, we start saying things like, stop making a fuss. You're making a big noise and you're upsetting everybody by revealing your emotions. Repress them! Repress them! This is not appropriate behaviour for a 7-year-old. When you were 3, it was all right to cry when you were sad, but now swallow the tears. Swallow them! Pretend! Pretend you're happy! It's what we do as parenting, and it's important. It's fucking important that we do that, because we can't have people, you know, in average offices going, I hate this job! You turned up to the emergency room at the hospital and said, oh, I've hurt my arm, can you... And the nurse just went, I'm bored of this! I didn't ask to be a nurse! Fucking hate you! Nothing would work. So in a very real way, we do have to teach our children, to some extent, to suppress their emotions. We have to, because otherwise society couldn't function. But I wonder if we take it too far. Because I do this, you know, I talk about sometimes I do this stuff in the corporate world where I go into offices and, I don't know, I just sort of, I don't know, help lawyers seem more interesting. And I have to do things like I have to sit in on conference calls. Do any of you have to do conference calls? Holy fuck! Honestly, this is what it's like. So, Jeff, you're across this. We wondered if you would, if you'd perhaps just fill us in on what your team's doing so we could get across this. Because I think Anthony isn't across this. So if Anthony and Sarah wanted to be across this, could you perhaps fill them in? And then he'll go, yeah, Tony, yeah, sure. I mean, I think what we need to... I'm across this, and I think I will happily get you across this. I think what we need to ask here is there a business opportunity in this space? Do any of those words mean? Some of these people, honestly... It's not just that they're producing consistent behaviour. There's muscles in their faces they haven't used in some years. There's no dynamics at all in their voice. And it's like in the corporate world, fewer and fewer behaviours and emotions have become acceptable until really people are just sort of robotic. I mean, some of these men especially, it's like they haven't moved their neck since 1998. It's like they have to move their whole top body. And it's not okay. That is too few emotions. Okay, we can't all be behaving like 3-year-olds, although clearly it is pretty damaging to suppress our children's emotions. What choices do we have? We've got to get them to suppress their emotions because they've got to go to school, they've got to operate in the world. Will we fuck them up? Yes, but we're all fucked up. If they didn't have baggage, they wouldn't fit in. I get that. But there comes a point, guys, where it's too much now. We need to be able to say, Jeff, what do you mean when you say you're across this? I've never wanted to ask what across this means. Does it mean you know about it? In which case, why aren't we saying that? We had a perfectly good word for know about it. Why do we have to say across this, Jeff? Why? Why, Jeff? Why? Well, because we need to assess whether there's a business opportunity in this space. What does that mean? Do you mean can we sell shit to other people? Because then why aren't we saying that, Jeff? Why? Why? I want someone on one conference call somewhere in the world one day just to say that. Just one person. If one person said that on one conference call and then just shouted, I'm out of here, I would be so happy. And here's the thing. I think that the corporate world and the political world and that sort of everybody's got to behave in this way where they show utter consistency at all times and don't show any emotion or any even interest in anything. I really feel like maybe it's got to go. And I was thinking recently, because I'm feeling much more active, I'm feeling much more, when I started this podcast, I was really talking about how I felt about my upper thighs. And now I'm like, holy fuck, what's happened to the world in a year? And, there's Trump, there's Brexit, there's what? I feel like now my feminism is more active. And I was thinking about this the other night. I was on a panel with some other women, and I was thinking, I feel like, marching is great, but what the suffragettes were doing was blowing stuff up. Admittedly, as AJ Close told me, they were very bad at blowing things up because they weren't good at making bombs. But I don't want to play into that stereotype, but it's true. They were not good at it. The technicals let them down. But they set fire to stuff, they smashed shop windows, they were really... And listen, I'm not saying let's build bombs. What I'm saying is, what's the thing between marching and bombing that I can do? And I started to think about, because the suffragettes called these things that they did outrages, and I started to think, could I do an outrage? And I started to think about Philip Hammond going, I urge you not to get hysterical. I urge you. You're not hysterical yet, but I can't look at it, so please don't get hysterical. And I thought, what if we used hysteria? Because people are very uncomfortable with emotions. So what if we just went into public spaces and all went, yeah! We got hysterical, do you know what I mean? What if we all just took the day off and pretended to be aeroplanes? What if we jumped on walls? If we did a happening, do you know what I mean? An outrage together. And some of it could be joyful. We could go into the town square and sing. Some of it could be satirical. We could all dress up as Donald Trump to piss him off because he doesn't like it when women lampoon people in his cabinet because it makes them look weak. Some of it could be like genuine hysteria, like hyperventilating, the sort that frighten men. Like that sort of like... Is there something we could do that used hysteria to stop them bringing in really evil legislation? So I'm just going to ask you to try it with me now. I need a suggestion for something we could do. A slogan that you'd like to shout out, something you've been feeling. Frustrated. Okay, I'm frustrated. Brackets, not sexually. This is good. This is a good feminist. Because it's just the emotion. It's like a kid. It's just the raw emotion. I'm frustrated, and then sort of more bracketsy, not sexually. Okay, but we're going to repeat that into a build, into an hysterical build. Okay, so I'm going to say it first, and then I'm going to give you the mic. So, I'm frustrated, not sexually. 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 Would you like to meet our fabulous guest? She is a wonderful local, that's not why we've booked her though, comedian who is everybody's favourite. Put your hands together for Jen Brister.
Oh, lovely. Hello.
Hello. Does anyone else think Jen looks like Audrey Hepburn?
No. Thanks, ladies. Thanks a bunch. Thanks a blinking bunch. I do have this haircut, and it's not for everybody. Clearly not for my mum, who's staying with me this weekend in Brighton. She just said to me, "Oh, my God. I don't think your hairdresser likes you." I was like, "Thanks, Mum. Thanks a lot." So, yeah, it's lovely. Hello.
So, hysteria. How do you feel about hysteria? Do you feel as a woman you get accused of hysteria at times?
Oh, always. Always.
Well, that's the end of the podcast.
The end. I tell you what I get accused of. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I get told that I'm too loud all the time. That is almost a bit like saying calm down. Like when you're talking, they go, sorry, shh. If someone shushes you, it takes all my willpower not to just punch them in the face. And I do blame my mum because I've got a foreign mum, so she's Spanish. And I think in this country we really don't like it if you're loud anyway. Particularly as a woman, we hate that, don't we? Like if you're loud as a woman, we're like... And I think it's also a class thing, maybe. I don't know if you agree with me. Like middle-class people like low talkers. We just don't like to raise our voices.
I think posh people can be loud brayers. Yeah.
Posh, absolutely. But middle class, if you raise your voice, if you're very loud around middle class people, they're just like, no. You must be poor. No. Do you know what I mean? We don't like it. So I always get told to either calm down or to shh. I get the shush
I feel the same. I felt it today, actually. As Margaret and I were walking to the train, I felt myself talking. And I just saw my husband's face and I thought, he thinks I'm being too loud. Like, I think I
Well, it's more about what you're saying, Deborah. I mean,
there are times when, actually there is like, and then he got his wanger out.
I think it was libelous.
I
what you
wasn't
were
talking
saying.
about ham jobs, just to be incredibly clear. But I felt like I sometimes do talk too loudly. But I think that comes from being Australian because, and this is something I learned from an accent coach, very posh British people, there's a lot of air in their voice because they speak right at the front of their mouth, so actually only using the front of their mouth. So if you purse your lips very tightly and you'll speak right at the front of your mouth, that's the Queen. It's very, very far front. And then more kind of, like a regional British accent, like a Cockney, be a little bit further back. And then Americans further back than that. And then Australians as far back as you can go. And so that's right at the back of the mouth. And that means there's a lot of Australian opera singers and famous West End Broadway singers, Hugh Jackman's. And it's because there's belt in the voice and it's because it's so far back.
I
so
thought
it's like,
it was because there was hardly any Australians, so they have to sort of shout because they're not very near, In Australia, they're like, they're right over by,
There's only the opera house in the country.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're imagining what all Australians are standing on opposite sides of a paddock?
Yes, and you don't have phones. Yes.
Yeah, sort of like, blows out again. There's probably something.
To me.
Yeah, there was movement at the station because the word had got around that the card from I regret had got away. And it's probably true, actually. My Australian accent's not very good anymore. Are there any Australians in? Good, okay. Nobody
we'd have heard them already.
Just to shout out if you're from somewhere that's not Brighton or Hove.
Hello, Shoreham.
Shout out if you're... shout out if you're international. Oh, yep. Where are you from?
I'm American. I'm from North Carolina.
You Americans are often accused of being loud.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, she doesn't have the mic and we can hear her perfectly.
Yeah. We don't need to mic you up. We can hear you.
I genuinely got quieter when I moved here. And going home now, I think everyone's really loud.
Oh, really? So you've quietened down for Brighton? You're Brighton local?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've rein it in. Other international person?
Yeah, American.
American as well?
Yeah.
Similar situation?
Well, I'm going to talk really loud now.
You are at the back of the room and you are crystal clear. I love it.
Yeah. You sound amplified. Have you brought your own mic? Just wherever I am. I've got it. I can switch it on. So we've got 2 Americans in. Anyone else international?
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm Romanian.
Romanian. Now, what's the stereotype? Who's loud in Romania? What's the stereotype?
I think it's always the poor people.
Poor people are loud. Oh, really? So there's a stereotype that Romanian working class people are loud? And men. But that's just true. Men are louder.
Yeah, they just own everything, don't they, with their voices. Get out.
In Spain...
You know what that means.
In Spain, it's sort of insulting to be too quiet. That's the opposite. It's kind of, what secrets do you have?
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's a very different thing. When I go with my family in Spain, it actually looks like they're arguing with each other, like literally all the time. And they're just like, do you fancy a drink? You want a coffee? Like, oh my Jesus Christ. Like, because they speak so quickly. It's like a machine gun's gone off,
Do you speak Spanish?
That was her speaking Spanish.
That's fluent. For those of you, there's a few proper Brits in there going, she's good at that. She's nailed that Spanish accent. Yes, I can. But not. I wouldn't say I was very good. My girlfriend thinks I'm very good at speaking Spanish because she can't speak Spanish.
So she's always wildly impressed when you.
So she's like, "Oh my God, that was fluent," and I was like, "Literally, I just asked where the bus stop was." But okay, that's basic GCSE Spanish.
What do we think about the way Mary Cray was spoken about in terms of hysteria? Why is it that we still in 2017 impose the idea of hysteria on women? Does anyone know the origins of this?
Yeah, I know a bit about hysteria. It's related to the womb, hence hysterectomy. Actually, the more I research it, the more ridiculous it is, the more it becomes clear that it was obviously doctors going, I don't know what's going on with women? They can, grow people? What's that? And there's all this stuff about how they thought a womb was like an animal inside a woman, and in a way it is, I suppose. It can be, because it grows a person.
So they thought the womb was like an animal, and therefore that the person who had this
probably
womb
a witch.
Was not to be trusted, or in some way their emotions were unable to be anticipated.
Yeah, it's weird how related to periods and, that it seems to be. And they just...
And in Victorian times, didn't they try and cure hysteria with vibrators? Because that's why the vibrators were invented.
Yeah, I don't think they had the vibrating part of it.
Oh, I thought they did.
Sorted. I think the vibrators were maybe invented because...
I thought they were invented specifically by doctors.
Like those woodpeckers that you wind up.
Yeah.
That seems so sexy.
You just put a little cotton wool at the top of it and...
But they genuinely, there was a doctor who invented them because women were said to be hysterical, so they were sort of, they were having the vapours, they were emotional. I think actually, probably their hysteria was the product of being oppressed and constantly told they had to sit indoors doing needlework.
Oh my God, I would lose my bloody mind if someone just said, look, just embroider that for 9 hours. They're like, kill me.
But also,
in a corset.
Embroider that for the rest of your life. Like your life is embroidering.
Play the piano, embroider that, don't speak.
Don't go outside.
Don't go outside.
And sit properly.
And you'll get a cold if, literally a drop of rain lands on your forehead.
Yeah. And sex also wasn't really seen as something women would enjoy. It was done so men could impregnate them. So guys got their rocks off and often also visited sex workers for more erotic pleasures. And
but women that is true, because women weren't supposed to enjoy sex, so there were certain things. It wasn't like women weren't supposed to be able to orgasm. So then, if guys wanted, they would that was it. So get you pregnant and then off down the old brothel.
Yeah.
For some fun times.
And it wasn't seen as proper to sort of really give your wife a good scene to.
Yeah, it would be wrong for your wife to have an orgasm.
Yeah.
That would be
and also,
disgusting.
if a woman had an orgasm, it was attached to hysteria and seen as a mental illness.
Well, that's why they invented the vibrators, so that I thought it was a cure for hysteria. And so women were being visited by these doctors who would then give them the vibrator treatment. They'd have the orgasm, and then they'd say, oh, yes, doctor, I'm feeling hysterical again. And they'd call the doctor.
Funny that.
They'd call the doctor once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having these regular bouts of hysteria, Doc.
Seriously, there was a movie made about it. Do you think sometimes women think other women are hysterical or emotional? Like some women say, I'd rather work with men because I know where I am. I've heard women say that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've heard that. I can't really be friends with women, and I never trust a woman that says that. I think, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, I think
Do you not like yourself very much?
Have you not met anyone?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen men around, and they're all right. And some of my closest.
Some of my closest husbands are straight white men. And
look, some of my closest sons are boys, and we'll have to work on that. Anyway.
But it's interesting, if you look at who is currently, and I don't want to look at him, but who is currently the most powerful man in the world, he is an incredibly...
God, his mum didn't love him, Jesus.
He's incredibly over-emotional.
Can we not blame a woman for Donald Trump, please? I cannot believe you've just said that, Jen. We will not blame a woman. That's like blaming... Well, we might as well say Eve the apple.
That wasn't the intention of what I said.
He cut her out.
I just meant he was so vile. How could anyone? But it did come out wrong.
I reckon he punched his way out of the womb.
This will be edited.
It will not.
like all of his I don't understand why anyone, this go, well, Hillary can't be. Hillary couldn't be president because
Hillary's
she's a woman and she's
the most unemotional person in the world.
That look of strained patience I saw on Hillary's face began to depress me. A couple of months into the election.
Well, I know, but what started was like initially when she was before the primaries that we can't have a woman because they get periods and. What about if she gets her period and just...
She's fucking postmenopausal. How old is that? She's fucking 71. Even worse.
I know, but the whole idea is that it's still when the moon comes out, and she's near a button, what it's like, the full moon, and we're pressing any button we see.
Oh, my God. But she's so unlikely to press a button, it's amazing she could button up a trouser suit.
But then she was criticised, wasn't she? Because she was seen as completely lacking any emotion and cold. So that you can't win. You can't win as a woman.
She couldn't win. No, very clearly.
She didn't win. She didn't win. Sadly.
Win. No.
Sadly.
But you're right. Like she was. I mean, let's look at how measured Hillary Rodham Clinton is. She was married to Bill Clinton during the whole Monica Lewinsky affair and various other affairs that came out. And she was so measured, she went, it's best for the family, for the presidency, for everything. I'm going to hold it together. And she was so dignified through that. And I've heard people blaming her and saying, oh, well, look what she did to those women. And I'm like, what did she do? And they're like, well, I've heard Christopher... misogynist, what's his name? Hitchens. I've heard Christopher...
This middle name
This is Christopher...
When you said misogynist, I went...
Yeah, this is Christmas feminist charades. Christopher... misogynist. I've heard Christopher Hitchens saying that she did everything she could to alienate those women and slut-shame them. And I'm like, I don't remember her saying anything. Point to something she did or said that wasn't just dignified. And they're like, I don't know, but Christopher Hitchens said she was to blame for Monica Lewinsky. And I'm like, she was the only one who wasn't in the room. But somehow, it was her fucking problem of what, just awful. And you're right, Trump is fucking hysterical.
He is hysterical, absolutely. He shouldn't be allowed on Twitter. He's clearly insane. Sad, isn't he? He's like a toddler.
Really?
But he's like a toddler.
I wonder how much people say calm down to him. It feels like if anyone should be calmed somehow, he needs to be sedated.
Imagine now, if you will, Hillary Clinton won. We're in a different parallel universe.
I like this universe. Can we stay there?
Lovely. And imagine Meryl Streep tweeted that she was concerned about some of the policies. Maybe she'd brought in a more right-wing policy than anyone was hoping on immigration. And imagine Meryl Streep giving a speech about diversity. And imagine if Hillary Clinton, as a woman, tweeted, she's the most overacted target in Hollywood, blah, 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 blah. And Iran, you suck too. Can you imagine the fucking blowback that people would be saying, if we told you can't have a woman in the White House? It's like if Obama had said, I grab women by the pussy.
What universe are we in? We just can't even imagine. We're in a universe that's so surreal that sometimes I wake up and go, is this the real world? It's just, when you're walking through, you think, am I dead? Did I die? I think I'm dead. Because the only way this can be happening is if I'm dead. But it's real. It's
like
real.
being in a satirical film that's jumped the shark. And you just go, well, this is no, you can't. This is implausible now, everything we're living through. But I do worry, because America is so spectacular, what's happening is so gripping and like car crash television. I sort of think the Tories must be loving it, because we're slightly taking our eye off the ball with what's happening.
He's a great distraction. And then we go, oh, look, the NHS is gone. And no, those child refugees aren't coming in. And austerity measures.
OK, so we have Theresa May as Prime Minister here. We have a female Prime Minister.
And we've got Theresa May here. We've got Angela Merkel in Germany. And we've got I'm not a Theresa May fan by any stretch of the imagination. But she is statesman-like. She's
stateswoman-like.
Statesperson-like. All right.
I want Theresa May to be more hysterical. I want her to show more emotion and get more concerned about what's happening with Brexit, because she voted to remain, and now she's basically left with the leave option because none of the guys that had caused the problem wanted the job. They all went, oh, fuck, we didn't think this would happen. We thought we could get in a bus and sort of get some of the UKIP voters on side and still have the status quo. Oh, no, we haven't. You touched at last, is basically what Bojo did. So Bojo wanted the job until the job became hard. So Theresa May stepped forward and said, I'll have a go because it's the only time a woman's going to get a go otherwise. I think that's what's happened. But I want her to get more emotional about it, and I want her to show that she cares. And I think probably she doesn't, because
She's a Tory.
Either because she's a robot type person, or because she's been trained to be a robot type person because she's a woman and she's in politics and she's been told don't show any emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
Could we write to Theresa and say, can you please show us what you feel, and can you please get more passionate about it?
Yeah, I mean, as the resident badge giver outer, I should say, I have been
badge would you like to give Theresa
Well,
May?
I have been sending her some quite odd letters.
Have you?
Yes.
Have you? Oh, this is a revelation.
Oh, I want to hear about this.
Not that odd, just very, very pally. We've been sort of quite sympathetic and saying, look, it really worked. I mean, it was before she went out to see Trump, and I, just sort of said, come on, love.
Come on, love.
Come on, love.
Calm down.
Calm down for a start.
Did you say I'm frustrated, not sexually?
I said I appreciated that she had a really terrible job because she was stuck with Brexit, and whatever happened, she was going to be the Brexit Prime Minister. But I just said, I understand that, but you've got to go to Trump and say, I can't remember what I said now. No, that's it. I said, come on, Theresa. You and I both know that Trump is a narcissistic, psychopathic misogynist. And I know that you're not allowed to say that, but can you just remember that while you're trying to do any talking to him and,
while you're holding
on
his
the world
hand.
stage, while you're holding his fucking hand.
While you're whispering sweet nothings in his ear.
Because apparently he's scared of heights or something.
I'm scared of steps.
I was going to say, it was only 3 steps, wasn't it?
Scared of steps.
He's
You're
a
scared of steps.
Dalek.
You're scared of steps. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
It'd be really easy to defeat him if he was a dog.
Does anyone have a question about hysteria or feminism? One of the Americans must have a question.
Did you watch the movie The Falling, and how do you think it represented hysteria?
I haven't seen it.
No, I don't know.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, sorry.
Could you tell us about it, though?
You
Pitch it.
tell us what you think, and then you can come and host it next week.
Oh gosh, does anyone else want to explain it? No.
Has anyone else seen it? Are you asking a question about a movie you have seen it?
Imagine.
No, I have seen it.
Okay,
you've seen it.
I just don't know how well I can explain it.
Okay, imagine, if you will, that a man had got the microphone in his hand and said, have you seen this movie? And everyone had gone, no. What he wouldn't have said is, does someone else want to explain it? He would have gone, great, because I'm going to tell you the whole plot. Spoiler up.
So it's a movie that was demonstrating the movement of hysteria, I think in about the 70s, where girls in schools started fainting. And there was the fainting movement.
About this, yeah.
And it was all wrapped up within hysteria.
Why did they start fainting?
I did hear about
It was like a contagious thing. Someone was unable to express their emotions, and so they fainted, and then because they did that quite publicly in school, all of the other girls started doing it, and it became an unexplained phenomenon.
Wow. I did a Radio 4 play once called A Time to Dance, and it was about this phenomenon in the Middle Ages in France, and this, I think it was a man that came out and just started to dance, and then someone came out and joined him, and there was a whole, like half the village came out and they couldn't stop dancing, like in a trance state, until they died. And the radio play that I did was sort of ad-libbed, improvised, and we did it like a docudrama about like this was happening now on the South Bank, and all these experts were talking, and we had Robin Lustig doing the news, and it was the only ever Radio 4 play of the day drama that got complaints because people said it was too realistic. Because normally plays are like, hello? Are you in there, Agatha? I'm just having a cup of tea. Ting, 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 ting. This was so...
That's better than a lot of them.
They normally don't get complaints that are too realistic, but people said, my daughter was on the South Bank and I really thought it was happening and she was caught up in a terrible dancing trance. Genuinely. But... God, I love Radio 4. It was an hysterical dancing manifestation of oppression. Is this something that you think we're going to see?
I hope so. It sounds great.
Not just necessarily dancing, but are we going to get more hysterical if there is more oppression, as it looks likely there will be?
Well, I hope if we are going to get hysterical, it manifests itself in a slightly more vocal rather than like just falling over.
I'm livid!
Oh, well, that's that then. Next!
That's the trouble. That's the sort of between the march and the collapsing in...
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I hope what I would
work it
love is that we have a bit of cohesion. The thing that I always find with the feminists and also with the left is that we are our own worst enemy, aren't we? Because the right will just go, oh, let's just leave them to it. And then we all just attack each other, don't we?
I'm so sick of the left being so cross with each other.
So the left is like divided in like 655,000 different ways. And the Tories just go, see you later. That's another 50 years of us being in power.
Since June, I've been signing off all of my emails, see you in dissident camp, because I'm sort of hoping that me and my friends are the sorts of people who will stand up for, you know, my friends who are not particularly oppressed will stand up for the oppressed, and I'm not optimistic is what I'm saying about the whole dissident camp thing. I bought a badge saying I voted
You're
stay.
good with badges.
It sounds like I'm obsessed. I swear I'm not that obsessed.
We're in the guides.
You evidently are. Margaret, the first step is to admit the obsession.
I've got a badge problem.
It's no good saying I'm not. No one said you were. And you just went, I'm not obsessed. Nobody had accused you of that. And so I'm going to call it. It's a problem.
All right. I bought a badge that says I voted stay because I couldn't bear going into my kids' school the day after Brexit and knowing all of those Poles and Irish people would just be looking at me going, you have done this. And
I know what you mean.
Oh, sorry, another question. Yes.
I've got an idea.
Hooray! Let's storm the Bastille.
I think we're all frustrated, horrified, much more than frustrated. I'm much more than frustrated. Some years ago, Julia Gillard was widely known for her 15-minute monologue against Tony Abbott and his misogyny. That's what we need now. Women need to be articulate about their criticism. To speak for 15 minutes uninterrupted in the Australian Parliament as a woman takes courage and it takes strength. So I propose that we write to Julia Gillard and suggest that she starts a Julia Gillard school of
speaking for 15 minutes.
Of filibustering.
And just imagine Julia Gillard with Trump. Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, she should start training.
How can we get them in the same room?
She would be a wonderful secret weapon. That's my idea.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But, you know, it's a weird thing, isn't it, that Gary Lineker is the closest to an opposition we have at the moment. That is weird. And
That's
Lily
not
Allen.
okay, is it?
It's not okay. It's
Oh,
insane.
God. We're just going to end up with salt and vinegar crisps and no NHS.
So my question is, what's your strategy when someone tells you you're being too loud? Because I'm always like, I feel when someone tells me I'm being too loud, because I am an actually loud person, I just feel really like ashamed, and I just instantly feel like a little girl again. And I just don't know, like...
So when you're told this, is it in a work scenario or is it in a, you know,
it's in every
restaurants,
scenario.
pubs?
Like my... It's happened in, like, because my fiancé is a loud person as well.
I've heard him laughing and I've enjoyed it.
And, like, yeah, we've been told off in, like, restaurants, be like, use your indoor voices, guys. And my dad tells me off for being loud, which is hysterical because he's a really loud person himself. But I just feel like I have no comeback when that happens. Like,
Have you thought about singing I Am What I Am? Every time. No, it's really difficult. I come from a very loud family, and an office party at the next table to us in an Indian restaurant who complained about us. And I swear, we weren't even particularly drunk. We were just quite loud. There's a lot of laughing. But what was really nice, the waiter came over and he was absolutely mortified to tell us to be quiet. We're like, it's an office party of librarians. I mean, they were virtually silent. But we got a free bottle of wine out of it. So
I had the same thing on a yoga retreat. It was a big party, but it was a yoga retreat. I mean,
way yoga.
Downward facing dog, downward facing dog, downward facing, downward facing, downward facing dog. Basically, was the atmosphere. And this table of people that was in France, and they said roast beef. They said they were very English. This is what they like. They come over here, stealing our yoga mats, and yeah, they're too loud. And they said, well, we did warn them there was a big party in tonight, but it is embarrassing to be an English yoga retreat being told you're too loud. What I would do if I were you, if you get told this a lot, have on your phone an app where you press a button and Rage Against the Machine comes out.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I won't do what you tell me.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. But it comes out like really loudly and you just have to press and shoot. So I'm so sorry. It's just some of the other patrons have been just a little bit upset by the volume of your voice. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, until they go away.
Yeah. And also, does it bother you?
No.
Job done then.
Yeah,
That's good. That felt like we solved something.
Yeah.
She's not bothered anymore. But just by the end
Just
of the
tell them, just go, I'm sorry, would you mind taking a few steps back? Is that better? Now bog off.
I think I want your spirit, Jen. I want to have that.
You've got to meet my mum. She's insane.
I want your
She would never put up with anything. Yeah.
Because I would also feel like, oh God, now I feel terrible. Like Jen, like she just goes, kind of like she's got that kind of zero farks going on.
I've got no fucks. I've got no fucks left.
I've got loads of farks.
Yeah,
I want to have zero farks.
No, I've got no fucks. Since I hit 40, my give a fuckometer's not flickering. It's gone. It's dead. That's it. There's no fucks are left.
Jen, do you have anything to plug?
Yes. I and another comedian, Tina Duyeb, have organised a tour of gigs for Stand Up for Refugees, Help Refugees UK, and we will be doing a gig here at the Dome on the 21st of June with an amazing lineup of stand-up comedians. I'm hosting it. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Get yourselves a ticket. All proceeds go to Help Refugees UK, and it's also a big fuck you to all those people that are just generally arseholes, isn't it? And it's a really good cause, and I think with everything that's going on, I mean, there's the biggest humanitarian crisis since, pre-Second World War, and all the money will go to helping refugees in Europe and getting them over here and getting them over to other parts of Europe, and also looking after them while they're waiting, and also putting pressure on the government to start letting kids that have family over here to come into this country. So please give us your money.
Any?
Yeah, it's a bit hard to plug something that is after that.
So virtuous.
Oh, I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
Something entirely not worthy at all. I'd like to plug my podcast, Do the Right Thing, which is free at British
brilliant.
Comedy Guide. Thank you. I'd also like to plug, and this is a heavily ladyfied sitcom on BBC 4 starring Miriam Margolyes. And in it, I get loads of Stephanie Beacham's blood on me in episode 3. So that's an amazing teaser, isn't it?
Really worth watching out for. I would like to plug, on the 28th of May, we will be back in Brighton. And we are doing a show as part of the Brighton Festival in a big space. What's this theatre in Brighton that has 900 seats?
Theatre Royal.
Theatre Royal, thank you. It's that one. And the co-host is Jessica Foster-Q, and the guests are Rebecca Statten, who was the mum in Catelyn Moran's Raised by Wolves. But Rebecca was also in Pulling with Sharon Horgan. And Sharon Horgan is the other guest, so we're doing double guest. And Sharon Horgan is in Catastrophe. That's what you will know her from, and Pulling, and lots of, yes, which she wrote both of those. And we're going to be talking a lot about motherhood and other subjects as well. We're going to do 2 episodes back to back. So please come and join us on the 28th of May. And it's a big space, so please bring 20 or 30 of your closest feminists. Also, on the 22nd of May, we are doing an event called Include Yourself. It's a women's leadership event. Basically, it's me for 3 hours in the morning doing the corporate stuff that I do, talking and doing exercises about how you can include yourself more, how you can be more charismatic, more central, give fewer fucks. And then there's going to be breakout sessions. You can choose, you can do stand-up comedy, you can sing in a gospel choir, anything that will help you take up more space. We'll have various things. And then there'll be a very special episode of The Guilty Feminist, and we are interviewing Suzanne Williams. Now, Suzanne Williams used to work for MI5 as a hostage negotiator. The theme is negotiations. Now, if anyone can negotiate, it's Suzanne Williams. She doesn't work for MI5 anymore. She said, oh, now I'm freelance. And I was like, who hires a freelance hostage negotiator? She said, oh, aid organisations, they can't be fanning around waiting for someone to come and help them. They just need their people back. So as a full-time job, she negotiates with people who have hostages. And she said sometimes they don't want to negotiate with a woman because most people who take hostages aren't feminists. And
Weird. Never would have
and some of them are like, I'm not talking to a bird, you know, I don't know. So then she has to Cyrano de Bergerac into a man's ear so that they think they're talking to a man, but really they're talking to a woman. Isn't that awesome? So that's going to be a very special episode. It's only for the people there that day, although I think we will make it available at a small cost just so that we don't piss off all the people who've paid for the day, sort of thing. So if you would like to come to that day, there are some flyers here. There's an expensive rate if you have a posh job, and there are also some £10 tickets for people who really can't afford it. Also, I have another show called Global Pillage, which is a diversity-based comedy panel show. You can listen to that at globalpillage.net. And there's something I've wanted to do that I've just come up with this idea. I thought what we should do is like a charity of the week. So does anyone here have a relevant charity they'd like to just pitch to us for 30 seconds? And then someone can collect money for that charity in this cup, which previously had water in it. Yes?
A community-based charity in Brighton called Night Stop, which finds solutions for homeless young people and puts them with volunteers in the volunteers' homes when young people are facing homelessness and helps them find their own homes. And it's not just Sussex, it's spreading, but it's really good, and I've done it for a while.
And if people are listening at home would like to donate or get involved, where should they go? What's the website?
Nightstop.com.
Nightstop.
Nightstop.
Nightstop.com.
Yeah.
If you would like to come down at the end of the show and stand with this cup to collect, people are going to put money in the cup, and then you can take the money and give it to Nightstop.
And we will trust you to do that.
I promise.
Yeah, I'm assuming you just seem so... She seemed to know so much about the charity, didn't she? A suspicious amount for someone who's going to steal the money.
I've just checked and there is no Nightstop.com. Follow The Guilty Feminist on Twitter at GuiltFemPod. Check out our Instagram, instagram.com/The Guilty Feminist. Like our Facebook page, sign up to our mailing list to get notified as soon as an episode is released. And please go to iTunes and do rate, review and subscribe. Give it 5 stars. If you get anything else, it's like fake reviews, guys. So yeah, we just want to help other people find the podcast.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And can I have a big round of applause for my guest co-host, Margaret Cabourn-Smith? And for our wonderful guest, Jen Brister! You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Frances-White, and guest co-host Margaret Cabourn-Smith, and our very special guest, Jen Brister. The recording engineer was Chris Sharp. Music was by Mark Hodge. The producer was Tom Salinsky for The Spontaneity Shop. Thanks to Rosie Crane and everyone at the Brighton Dome, as well as all of you for listening. For more information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com. Producers, is there any chance we could get some water, like 3 glasses of water? Sorry, there was an oversight.
Someone's getting sucked.
No, I'm sleeping with him.